Surrounding you, villains with every aspect I choose, and showing just that they lose when they step in the game. Everyone knows my name. Doctor Strange, who, Spider-Ham, maybe, and Black Widow, on a secret mission to stop the villain. Dance of Death is the main event. Unless I'm Rocket Raccoon, no time to be rude. Oh wait, I just promised you. I'm a superhero, always willing to go to blow with crimes to save so many lives. A stud is to die. Marvel champions, you a champion. I'm a champion, we are champions. I'm a superhero, always willing to.
Welcome to Descartes Gaming. We're doing a Let's Talk Valkyrie and Ironheart. Now, what this stream is where we just kind of talk it out. I give you guys my feedback, impressions on the heroes, and just talk about them in general. As you know, we just kind of finished our playthrough with Valkyrie and Ironheart, and so I seem to have some good feedback for you guys to talk both about them, what I like, what I dislike. So let's start off with Valkyrie. So Valkyrie, give you some backstory, has always been one of my favorites, even before the whole D20 making jokes and kind of always calling her the best and all that. I was actually I was ahead of my time. I was actually the original D20 that fell in love with Valkyrie, but for real, legitimately. I just think like when it comes to minion control, and what people don't talk a lot about is her event card that is Chooser of the Slain. I think this gets overlooked quite a bit. Now, why Chooser of the Slain is much better than Thor's his event card. Well, there you go. So Thor has a similar kind of event but it discards for a minion. This is much better because you can tactically, systematically grab the exact minion that you need, and you put into play. And you can then also kill a minion and bring that minion you just killed in the discard pile back into play again. So it's way better. Like out of all the sort of, go get a minion, like aggression does have looking for trouble. It's basically like Thor's, but a little bit worse, because it can only take off the main scheme, where Thor's event can target a scheme. But yeah, the purposes of this card really is there's a lot of scenarios where minions have surge. That's a lot. There's a lot of minions with surge. So what this card can do is, because you're not revealing it, you're putting into play, you avoid the surge keyword. So especially next evolution, when you go against the Scrambler, the Vanisher, these are all really bad minions that will put your safe house back into your hand or destroy an upgrade or whatever. She can then just take those out of the counter deck, put them into play, and not do the surge or their reveal ability. So again, I think I don't hear a lot of chatter on this about Chooser of the Slain being that good, but it synergizes so well what she does, because she can literally just go to town and hit minions, kind of have her way with minions. She has lots of tools for overkill. Especially in aggression, you have so many different cool things you can do in aggression. But the point I'm trying to say is that this is a very good card. You get two of them. And the thing I think people miss is that you can do stuff like avoid surge minions, or pull out a certain minion that might have a bad boost ability. There's a lot of minions that their boost ability is the worst. So she can grab those, put them into play. They're out of there. And again, I think this is something that people don't talk about, or maybe don't even realize. But when you play on harder difficulties, or, this becomes a real thing. And I want to give props where Valkyrie doesn't get props. So that's to start her off. And then, I think the sad part is she has two weapons. She has a spear, and then obviously she has Dragon Fang. Now, here's what I'm going to say about this. Dragon Fang is amazing because it literally puts her at a 4 attack. And how many heroes in the game that can get kind of to 4 attack like right away or, easily? Not many. I mean, Spectrum can kind of change forms, get a ping, then she can hit for 3, but just for that one kind of time, sort of. And Spectrum is a different kind of beast. Like, she's a very explosive right at the gates going. But my point is, this is a really good one-cost upgrade. And again, the way you play Valkyrie with the deck glow, you can really abuse this. But going back to the spear, yeah, I agree. The spear is pretty bad. I mean, it's decent if you do a protection Valkyrie, because the Shield Maiden now has the defense keyword now with the errata from the new rules. But in aggression, it just doesn't gel well. I use it as a resource, or if I'm playing not standard 2, caught off guard, that's the target for it. It's sad though, because I think her spear, lore wise, in the comics, it's pretty like cool, and she does like, it's useful what she uses it for. And they had an opportunity to maybe give her piercing. Now that would have been nice, and I would definitely value that spear if it had the piercing keyword, but it doesn't. So unfortunately, she does have a few cards like Shield Maiden and the spear, pretty useless outside of protection. And then the thing is, if you're playing her in protection, that goes against her synergy with wanting to kill minions, because now you're putting Deathglow on the villain to get the higher defense. And the way her mechanism works with Deathglow, you would have to kill the villain or flip to altar to then, get it detached, which is counterintuitive when you really want to be killing minions every round. So like I said, you can kind of like make her work on protection with the spear, but then you're like nerfing her to what she's really good at and how she wants to be played. That's my opinion. Maybe disagree, but I'm not saying you can't really do a protection Valkyrie, but I feel like you then chop off a good portion of what she's good at doing. But let's talk about where I think her future is, and why I think people need to start looking at Valkyrie again. And also going back to Choose of the Slain, the game that the Mojo Standard 2 expert that we just finished, we were able to bring back the dragon twice in the same round, and or kill him twice. And so we drew like me and Ironheart drew 10 more cards. And so this is something you can't do with any type of hero, right? I mean, so she can do stuff like that. Of course, the fantasy modular, you could say, is definitely catered towards Valkyrie. But like I said, I mean, that's, this is getting into the point of why this is such a good card. And yeah, so, but here's the thing. There's new cards coming out, and they're going to make her, I believe, a lot more powerful. And even though I do think she is quite powerful right now, and I'll talk about why people give her such a bad rep, and why people like to whine and be like call her a joke hero, basically, like there with Hulk. And I'm going to get into that near the end. I don't want to bunny trail into that right now, because, that's, yeah. I want to first talk about why I think her future is brighter. So the way I like to play her, I love her in aggression. I think aggression is, in my opinion, the best aspect for her, because you can use, like, you get a combat training. Although, if someone's playing aggression, they could put on Valkyrie, but I think that's great. But more importantly, you can put a fluid motion down. So fluid motion is really good when I like to run three drop kicks. So basically, I would start like a turn, do 4 damage, stun the villain. I draw a card. Then it's going to give me an extra attack. So for that kind of phase, I'm going to be up 1 attack with her sword, with combat training. If I'm attacking someone with deck glow, she's 4 with Dragon Fang, 5 with fluid, and combat training 6. So right there, she can hit for 6 or non-death glow person 5. But better yet, if you get specialized training on, that could be 7 or 6. And you're always drawing a card. Like she's made for this card. It shouldn't have magic on it. It should have Valkyrie on it, because literally she's always using a basic attack when you're playing Valkyrie, except if you get jammed up with the Shadows of the Past, which we'll talk about at the end there, because that ties into where I think people complain a lot and think that she's a really bad hero. But so why I'm bringing up all this, like the strength is her strength can go really high, and then you use minions and you overkill them to then push through more damage, get ready from her death glow. So she can like swing at the villain, then attach this to a minion, overkill it, do more damage to the villain, ready herself, attack the villain again. So she can be super aggressive, but more importantly, she does what a player counter group needs: minion control. Like I tell you, Valkyrie could literally handle the whole board. Like in a 3-player, 4-player game, you don't need any minion control but Valkyrie. Valkyrie literally can just, all the heroes could focus on whatever, the thorning or building, playing allies, just attacking the villain. Valkyrie will hands down just annihilate whatever steps out. There's no, like, the only people that come close to her level of a control from minions would be Thor, Rocket Raccoon. I guess Nova's pretty good too if you spec them a certain way. But I would say the standouts would be Rocket Raccoon, Thor. They come close to her level of minion control, but when they're set up, when they're built up, especially Rocket Raccoon, yeah, you could say Rocket Raccoon is neck and neck with her, because Rocket Raccoon with a dive bomb Rocket Raccoon is off the wall. It's off the wall. But that's another conversation. I want to focus on Valkyrie, but just trying to illustrate, and I want to point this out here. I'm not a tier list type guy. That might turn off people. For me, I think a lot of the community likes the tier list, and they want, Descry, rank. And I prefer not to do power tier lists, but to talk about specialization. And I think if you saw one of my older kind of videos I put out there, and it got some heat from some content creators that didn't like me calling it out, but I basically said that I don't believe in power tier lists, and I think that they're incorrect, basically. And I still haven't changed. I still feel the same way, because the game evolves. There's factors when you talk about how good a hero is, right? The person playing the hero, they could be played suboptimally, not knowing how to pilot, to be aggressive, to build, to do certain combos or tricks. That does be a huge thing. How good a hero can be played, or how powerful are they? How you deck build for that hero. These are all factors that I think the power tier list can be skewed a bit, and that's why it's very subjective, not objective. Whereas I think specialization, yes, you could say it's still sort of subjective, but it's a lot more objective than a power tier list. because you're literally you're narrowing exactly what you're specifically talking about, which is, say, in Valkyrie's kind of thing is minion control and maybe a damage dealer. And I think when you talk about and you compare heroes in that regard, it's better in a sense that you're not dumbing down other heroes or smack talking the so-called weaker ones. You're really just talking about the ones that do really good in that area. And yeah, and so that's always been kind of my feeling, and that's, you know, that's how I am. So like I said, Valkyrie, minion control and good damage dealer. Yes, her weaknesses are Thwarting's not her forte, but there are cards like Smash the Problem. There's also the X23 released. What's it called? It's like a upgrade attachment that goes on a side scheme, and you can use your attack as Thor. So yeah, that will work with Valkyrie. I prefer Smash the Problem because I can target the main and not just a side scheme. The other thing I would say is you only get really good value with this if she gets the 5 attack, really. Because when you think about it, most heroes, when they exhaust, have 2 thwart. Most heroes in the game, that's the average stat line, 2 thwart. So if you put that in retrospect, let's -2 to begin with, right? Because it says you have to exhaust your hero. So then really you're only getting 3, 1 cost for 3, which is pretty, a little bit above average, but decent for threat removal. But again, you have to get her strength to a 5, which you can by doing that build that I just showed recently with the one flow. What do you call it? The one flow, like water, or no, fluid motion, her Dragon Fang, a combat training. So if you do like a drop kick, or if you have the specialist training upgrade, you already got you're already there. But yes, so if you get her to 5 strength, then it's not a bad card. I mean, you could put it in this regard, like it's a 1 cost for 3 thwart, which is decent. It's not like super great, but at least it's a tool and an aggression for her to reduce threat. So that being said, because I know people might say, oh no, now here's the thing I would say that a lot of people miss the boat on too with Valkyrie. You put Hone Technique out, okay? So let's just move Valkyrie for a sec. So if you get this out, you can do a couple cool things. For one, Into the Phrase are now super explosive. Far as they're doing 7, 8, 9. And then if you attach a marked, you're doing that overkill damage to the villain, which is a lot. So you're removing a ton of threat and possibly doing overkill damage. And this is just a 1 card kind of setup. You don't need aerial unless you're trying to do dive bomb, but that's another thing I could talk about why I don't usually recommend dive bomb for Valkyrie, and there's a reason why, but that would take up a lot more time. I'm trying to condense this because we could spend a lot of time here tonight talking about certain things about Valkyrie, but I want to get my main points across that that is a terrific combo. And what's cool about it, if you are running the drop kicks, so if you say you do a drop kick, you stun the villain. I'm trying to find a drop kick. Where is my drop kicks? Yeah, here we go. So say you don't need, say you already have a stun, or you don't need really to draw 1 more card. Well, you could just do your Queen Carrier, generate that genius, and then pay the 2 more resources. And now you have a drop kick that does 7 damage. Okay, so 3 for 7. That's almost a swinging web kick from Spider-Man's own Identity Kit. You're 1 damage short, which is nice. I mean, like I said, I'm just saying there's utility there, depending what you need. Maybe you need that. Now, there's some new cards that will even make this even better for her. And we're going to go into that a little bit more. But I just want to kind of show you, because I think like what I've seen is people, I'm not going to name names, but basically the people on YouTube kind of just really be super negative with her, frustration, blah, blah, blah. They're not mentioning these things that I'm mentioning to you, at least from what I know. And I think this can maybe change people's opinions a little bit more, because not every hero can do this type of variant that I'm showing, and she does it really, really good. So let's, because I want to show you some of the new cards that I think are going to benefit her a lot. So I'm going to share my screen. And so in Age of Apocalypse, I'm just see. Yeah, you guys see me good. Okay, just double checking. We have some new cards coming our way. More importantly, I'm trying to get to it. So which one is it? Is it at the bottom? Oh yeah, Blood Rage. That is, I think that's a stellar one for her. So the thing is, the way you play Valkyrie in aggression, you're literally doing this almost every turn. You're usually always defeating an enemy, and basic attack is nothing for her because she gets it ready. So with your Valhalla in this card, you'll heal one. But you'll take a damage, but this translates into 2 more cards. So in hero side, she's 5. That means it would put you to 7. If you're in alter ego and then flip to hero, that would put you to 8 cards drawn. Not to mention if you are using Holly Heroes in aggression and you exhaust that could put you technically at 9, 10, 11 cards. Okay. And then if you have some supports and upgrades to help you play for cards or attach Deathglow for free, you got a lot of actions, a lot of utility, a lot of combo potential there. So definitely I think that's going to be amazing on her. And she has the heal. She has, when she kills something, she heals 1. So she negates that 1 damage, which is, perfect for her. Because there's sometimes she's at full health and you're just deleting stuff. So that's not even going to be a negative for her. So that was the big one I saw in this one. Full body charge. I wouldn't say. The thing is, I think this would be better for heroes that can control their life totals a lot easier. Maybe even Deadpool or X-23 does a lot of damage to herself as well. But I would have to play test this a little bit more. But the big one was that Blood Rage, I thought. And then the other one was in the Chilling Out reveal. There was an aggression card that, Keep Out the Pressure is also really good. Take That, I think, could also be very useful for her because you're doing hone technique, right? You'll always be able to attach, you have the Deathglow, so this will always be money for you. If you have hone technique, that damage is now 8, 9, 10 damage. So say you just attach Deathglow to the villain, this card is now doing 10 damage to the villain with hone technique. So yeah, it could, maybe one of these could be played in Valk's kit. And it's only 3 costs. It's not even 4. So 3 for 10 is really good. Now, I know you might say, well, Dive Bomb would do, I think it's 11 to the villain. Wait. So, but yeah, well, Dive Bomb requires you to get aerial. And Dive Bomb is still, I think, for me, Dive Bomb is good in scenarios that maybe perhaps there's too many minions. Like we're talking minions flooding the board like crazy. Like maybe Mutagen, the Green Goblin Mutagen formula. Maybe, yeah, dive bomb in that scenario would be fine, but usually why you don't want to run dive bomb with Valkyrie is you want to use the minions as a catapult for your overkill attacks. So again, dive bombs can kind of work with Valkyrie, but I think I would probably play them in like very, very heavy minion swarm scenarios, and that's mainly like the Green Goblin mutagen formula is probably a good candidate. But no, I'm just saying there's an option to to use this card with her, and again, I think she's only getting more stronger and stronger with the more cards get released. You also have this new personal size scheme that's coming out on Aggression. Each player may search their deck and discard a card for an attacking event and add it to their hand. Until the end of phase, each attack event deals 1 additional damage. Again, Valkyrie, the way she plays, or at least the way I play her, I'm always like near the end game, I'm doing 3 or 4, sometimes 4 attack events in the end game. So think about that. That's additional damage. That's another 4 damage. And say that's more damage on your Have At Thee. There's more damage on a lot of cards that you're playing. So yeah, all I can say is, and I've always said this, I said that as we get more cards, the heroes are going to get better and better. The creep power level will increase for the players, and that's what we're seeing. But that sort of wraps it up for Valkyrie, because I got to get to Ironheart. Let's go back to... Oh, you know what? I messed up here. I have my webcam on. I'm just wondering. Oh gosh, I was blocking the cards the whole time. Oh, that sucks. I was supposed to hit my webcam off and then show the cards. So that must have been extremely weird, just seeing me but not the card. Okay, because my webcam blocked it. Whoops. Okay. Anyways, apologize for that, but so in a nutshell, let me just let me fix that. So the cards that we were talking about when I was blocking it with my big face. So take that. That's the card. And then the other card real quick was Blood Rage. So those are the 2 cards I was trying to talk about. And I didn't realize my camera was directly blocking the card. So there you go. So let's go back to the table here. Hi, Scott. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, again, guys, like, my content is... it is what it is. No, Descry Gaming. The thing is, what I'm trying to say is that there's it's hard there's a lot of different opinions and content that's being out there at this point of the game's life cycle, and I'm trying to go into a direction where I believe even villain theory hasn't really gone, because I will challenge villain theory, because I know villain theory is probably within the community, maybe like, the knowledgeable, smart guy that, knows the stats and whatnot like that, or the new Tony Tales or whatever. But I still think he gets things wrong from time to time. And I think what he does is super good and knowledgeable, and he knows his stats and all that. But I just think there's things that maybe are under his radar that he doesn't see. And I'm, what I'm trying to do is go in that direction, basically, because I can't really compete with the other content creators. So I need to kind of dive into stuff that people don't really see or don't talk about. And that's what I'm trying to do. But is there anything else? Oh, I promised you I would talk about Valkyrie's insecurities, right? So, okay. So the reason why Valkyrie unanimously gets put down at the very bottom of so-called power tier lists. Single player is a different beast. For Valkyrie, it's glaring with her. The thing is, if you want to be successful, Valkyrie in solo play, you have to have some good allies with Thort. So Heimdall's a good choice. If you run Biofrost, he becomes cheaper because you play him in your deck, not in your hand. It does two things. It's a 2-thorter. You can also scry to see, or peekaboo at the encounter deck to see what's coming your way. So that could give you a safe flip without losing the game. But what's nice about Heimdall is that 2-thort is quite significant when your Shadows of the Past comes out and you have to deal with magical enchantments, or just delete Enchantress, right? So if you have allies out, they can do two things. They can clear your Nemesis side scheme and sometimes delete Enchantress. And I think that's where people get caught up. So the best way you can get over that really strong negative thing, which is Shadows of the Past early game, is to have maybe if you're playing aggression, because that's seem to be my recommended thing I'm telling people to play, is you can go Bug, Heimdall, there's even the champion White Tiger in basic that can get 3-thort. So Professor X, Psylocke, there's some really good allies there, but having some of those allies that are locked in play, if your shadow comes out, you're able to get yourself out of the bind, so to speak. But if you don't have in solo play, remember we're talking solo play, if you don't have that, then Shadows just screws you over and you're in the worst position. So that is where the disconnect is. I think a lot of players don't know how to handle that situation, if we're being honest. And I think that's why we get a lot of negativity with Valkyrie and frustration, and everyone kind of poo-poos her. But I'm telling you, that is your best counter per se in solo play. Now, in player counted groups, this is a different beast. You have your teammates to bail you out of magical enchantments or to delete Enchantress for you. So it's, you don't really don't have to rely solely on yourself to get yourself out of that. Okay, and so I mean that's the big thing. I don't need to talk more about that, but that I try to give you guys reason why it should make her the worst hero in the game. There's ways to kind of get out of it. But like I said, her main strength is minion control and damage. And the thing is, if you build her a certain way, she can blast down the main a ton with Hone Technique and Into the Fray. She can do really good smash the problems if you go 2 fluid motions, and if you get the specialized combat specialists from the player side scheme, you could maybe remove like 7-8 threat. It's possible. So, but that's like on a good day, right? Most of the time it's 5, maybe 6 if you're lucky. But still, that's a tool, and sometimes that's what you need to get yourself out of a jam. But that's all I'm going to say about Valkyrie. We're going to go into Ironheart. Let's move over to Ironheart. So, Ironheart. I tested her in pretty much all the aspects. I like her in the pool aspect the best. And I'll explain why. There's actually quite a few reasons why. Let's talk about the glaring things that I see right away, why I think Ironheart is made for the pool aspect, or a good candidate for it. Basically, it boils down to the mulligan variant of the pool deck, and also the Deadpool allies as well, which could be surprising for some people because I think people just thought, again, it was a meme deck, like it's not very competitive and it's more detrimental to yourself. But actually, I disagree, and I'll explain why. So, like I said, you play into this strategy. So, what the cool thing about Ironheart, right off the bat, she has a way to spend a resource in Alter Ego. So, say you draw your 6 and you have a mulligan in hand, you can spend a genius resource and get a free counter, and then you can mulligan and get a full hand size, and you're up 1 resource for free. But more importantly, if say you have a plot, what's it called? Plot convenience. I'm trying to find it. Right here. So say you have this out in your own alter ego. Well, this just says it's an action. So what that means is, again, you could have mulligan in your opening hand in alter ego, and you can exhaust this, and you could put an aspect card down. So you could put a pull card down. And then when the next round comes, you can either go up 1 resource because you unexhaust it, or you might need that particular pull card. So it could. So again, and another hero can also use it, right? So it's it's always got some value there. But the real star of the show is once you get her somewhat leveled up. The nice thing on her hero side, she gets a 6 hand size. So basically, not many heroes have a 6 hand size in hero. So she is one of the few. So you're going to maximize mulligan. Another cool thing is, even if say you had to flip early, right? And you got a small dinky hand size. Say you drop to 4 and this is one of your cards. Well, you could actually flip to alter and then do your mulligan and get 6 cards. So like you can kind of like avoid, like usually you don't want to end your turn in the version 1. But what I'm saying is there's ways to kind of like be like, no, I'm going to get a full 6 hand size again. But let's just talk about her. She's sort of level 2, level 3. So the other cards are Tic-Tac-Toe, Blackout. Those are really key cards. One thing to mention too, Deadpool Corpse or Deadpool Corp. Where is that? Right here. So what's nice about this is, again, what do you notice? It's just the action. So you could play Supersonic Teenage Warhead, which I think is a great ally card. And I'll explain why. So you can exhaust that. You can play this, and then you could just mulligan. Why? I should have all my cards together here, and I don't. Okay, so then you could just mulligan. So you got a really good card out for free, and then you get a full hand again. Yes, you're going to get an extra encounter card, but let me tell you something, okay? So many people know that when you're playing Marvel Champions, not every encounter card is terrible. Like, some are beneficial. I'll give you an example. Say a minion comes out and you have, say, in this case, you have Valkyrie as a teammate. Well, guess what? Valkyrie's looking at that minion like, oh, nice. Or Rocket Raccoon is like, ooh, his mouth is watering. So just because, yes, she with Deadpool Corp and her hazard here, yes, you're getting more counter cards. But you got to remember, some encounter cards aren't maybe terrible. And the nice thing is you can choose when you really want to trigger her interrupt to cancel treachery when reveal. And why this is so nice is because a lot of times when you're playing a certain difficulty or scenario, there could be one really bad treachery that just turns the game upside down, or really you do not want it to proc. Well, guess what? You literally have the best canceller. Black Widow is Black Widow is the best. But this will actually cancel it, not cycle it. So again, This comes like when you play a Ronin with the Milano. I always tell people, yes, it's extra hazard, but Shadows of the Past is probably not hitting the whole game because you can pick and choose when to use the Milano. So again, I think yes, they had to balance it, guys. I mean, obviously, there's a reason why she has exactly 4 hit points. Again, if you put an honorary on her, you can get like 3 cancellations. And now when you play tic-tac-toe, let me find it. You can actually heal her. You have a way to heal her with tic-tac-toe. So you can cancel pretty much the whole game if you play your cards right. And what's the other cool thing is if you have say you have Wanda, Scarlet Witch, she puts a magic shield down. Well, you can prevent some damage, right? So there's ways to kind of keep Warhead out there for a long time. Let me talk about So tic-tac-toe is also another great card with Mulligan because when you're in hero, you can spend your resources and then play Mulligan, right? So and then this translates into healing and damage. Blackout, same thing. So Blackout is removing threat, and then if you get a full Blackout, you get it confused on the villain. Again, ties into the Mulligan strategy. Now here's the kicker: why I think Ironheart is so good in the pool aspect. These triples, okay, work really well when she's version 3 because these full health, these are worth 3, and you have these cards in your deck. So this will give you a ready, give you a tough, and give you the exact Ironheart card you want. And she's also, some of her cards are expensive. But what's nice about the triple too, Mulligan now, you can do 3 and Mulligan. So you just have to have one of these in your hand, spend a bunch of resources, and then you have the 2 cards to get you a full hand size. So the key thing, people, you're not playing cards. You can only kind of do actions or spend resources. Another thing too, what people don't realize with Mulligan, if the villain has an attachment that says spend such and such, you can do that in hero. And then you play Mulligan and get your hand back again. So again, the pool aspect is amazing in scenarios that require you to spend stuff. Because Mulligan is get back your hand. So I can't stress and you can do a lot of cool little tricks and combos. But I think Ironheart has so many ways to synergize with this sort of strategy. And the allies are pretty good with the Deadpool Corps. I like Lady Deadpool. I think you could, if there's a bad minion out there that you really can't deal with that's non-elite, just let her take a block from the villain. She dies, kills that minion. Headpool is really fun because if there's a villainous person, totally, Scott. If there's a villainous minion out there, and check this out, if you have Lady Pool and Headpool out, you attack a villainous minion, that villain is gonna get 2 amplifications and attack the villain, which I did on my playthrough with this group. So again, if say you're teamed up with Phoenix, and there's a good chance Dark Phoenix comes out, then you could abuse this where the Phoenix is teeing off on the villain for a lot of damage. The key thing is if you're running amplification, if you can stun and confuse the villain, that's how you abuse this bad icon. So that's what you want to try to do, is limit the activations or have ways to negate whatever they're trying to do. The other thing you could say too, if you're running a telepathic person, you don't mind them having this out because the the villain does a scheme, but you use that telepathic redirect or whatever, and that boost amplification is now taking off threat for you, right? So it could take off like 7 for you. You know, and there's ways to like kill them when you want to kill them or discard them. So I just think, you know, people kind of give the pool allies a bad rap. I think they're much better with the Deadpool Corp, and especially with the mulligan thing, because you can sneak them in and then mulligan your hand to full, right? So you get an extra encounter card, but again, if Warhead's out, you can pick and choose which one really is an encounter card that really hurts you a lot as far as the treachery goes. And I think it's pretty strong actually. What else can I say about Ironheart? Yeah, I just the pool has really good stuff with her. She wants to do Nick Fury's, right, to draw cards. She wants to do what's the one that draws cards is a basic Moon Girl. So if you have the triple in the genius personality trait for the pool, it's worth 3. You can Moon Girl for 3. So yeah, it's much stronger than just the, you know, normal aspects. But yeah, so what I would say this, I definitely think it's my personal favorite to play Ironheart in the pool aspect. I don't know what you guys think, but I see a lot of synergy there, and it just works the way she wants to kind of get those progress, hide and alter or flip and then get a full hand, or there's a lot of things that she can do. And I just think it just suits her very well. I think there was something I wanted to talk about that's also going to supercharge her in the new cards that are coming, but I kind of forget. I think we're going to wrap it up because I've been talking a lot. I know I spent a lot of time on Valkryie, but the reason was that I believe I had to defend her a little bit because I still think to this day people still consider her one of the weakest heroes in the game. And I totally reject that notion. I don't think she is. And like I said, I would say she is the best minion control hero in the entire game. Yes, better than Rocket, better than Thor. Not by a lot, but I believe if I had to do a beauty contest where only one Miss Universe wins, it would be Valkyrie. And I'm sure people will be like, what? Rocket Raccoon? Come on. No, I mean, she's just so versatile. And I'm not saying Thor and Rocket can't give her a run for her money, but I still think she's by far the best minion control hero out there. I've been playing pool with Doctor Strange, and it works super well. And about to play Colossus pool. I think it's really underrated. Yes. So I will say this, guys. The pool aspect, don't listen to the naysayers out there, okay? The pool aspect is not a meme deck, okay? It's a deck. It's a high risk, high reward, a deck that sort of breaks the rules of standard aspect playing and building, okay? That's what you have to do and embrace it. Now, are there certain heroes that use it a lot better than other heroes? Yes, of course. And I gave you an example with Ironheart. I think Star-Lord is another hero that uses it very well. And I'm itching to do a pool Star-Lord run with him to show off how good it is with him as well. But yeah, I would say don't be afraid, because there is some hate towards the pool aspect. I'm getting those vibes from, usually it's in Reddit. Like, I don't know, everybody seems to be so negative on Reddit these days. But no, I think it's a great aspect. I think the real interesting question is, will Fantasy Flight keep introducing Deadpool cards? Maybe if there's another Deadpool type hero, because apparently I guess there's Lady Pool and there's a few other Deadpool type heroes out there, I think. I don't know. I'm not a lore expert, but I would like them to release a couple more Deadpools. I hope they don't just be like, no, it was just kind of a quirky aspect and we're done with it. I hope that's not the case, because I think it is a really cool aspect and it's really fun to play. Like, I mean, I had a blast playing it with Ironheart. It was really fun to do all these little quirky things. Anyways, this is the Let's Talk for Valkyrie and Ironheart. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from you in comments. I'll try to respond to your comments. If you disagree or you notice I maybe missed something out, share it in the comments. We can debate it. But I will see you on the next sort of stream. And take care. And that's all I'm going to say.